Okay, here we are. Good morning, everybody. Let me see who is here. Ah, everybody's here. Beautiful. So I'd like to hear from you guys. What's happening with your practice? Come on, Penny, don't make that face. I know you have some kind of a practice. Tell me something. No? Unmute yourself and tell me something. How is it going with your practice?
Oh yeah, it's going really well.
Yeah?
I'm finding much more stillness than I was.
Nice.
And also just a lot more calm, which is good for me from the practice to bring into the rest of my day.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I've ever done as much meditation since we started. It's been so wonderful. Thank you.
You should thank yourself.
I'm trying to be self compassionate.
Self-grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to dance and sing more too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Dancing is good.
Thank you.
Singing is good. Laughing is good.
Yeah.
We need to remember to do uplifting things because the collective subconscious is particularly heavy in these days.
Yeah.
In some places more than others, but definitely we need to nourish the light part and not the dark side. And there's plenty of darkness around.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I look to the light, always try and look to the light. I woke up in Berlin and it snowed this morning. I don't think you can see.
Wow, amazing.
So, it's gone wintry again here.
The last snow.
I think so.
Before the spring comes, yeah.
Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to unmute myself now.
Yeah. We need to nourish the light part. So doing anything that is nourishing for the soul and for the heart, very important. In the sitting practice, do you find the anchors? Have you been trying to use them? Do you find them helpful? And yes, no, and if so, if yes, tell me if there is one that is more helpful than others for you. I want to hear a little bit your experience. Petra, tell me something about that.
Well, I'm using the anchors before my yoga practice. And I teach it also to others in my yoga class.
Nice.
And it helps a lot. They find more grounding, and I can see them, going up with their chest and making alignment.
Yes.
And they have more. It's more easy to find the space in between, the floating of the breath.
Yes.
And it was very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Nice. Yeah. Nice to hear. Thank you. Who else wants to share something about that anchors? Yes, Amaya.
Hi, everybody. I had a discussion with my boss at work, and he was saying such stupid things. And I said, okay, now start, breathe, with my belly, and whoa. And sorry for my English. It's early in the morning. I can't speak
It's
English very
ta-
well.
take your time. There is no hurry.
But it was a change. I was hearing these stupid things, and normally I was, wow, flame,
Yeah,
and
reacting.
just breathing. Always, everything stopped, and I felt very well. I
Yeah.
succeed not to answer him.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a very good anchor in this moment of difficulties.
So you used, in that case, you use the feeling in the belly, the hara, and the breathing,
Yes, yes.
or the breathing in the
I said,
belly.
you. I said you can't change my mood with your with the things that you are saying, because I
Yes.
am in my center,
Oh,
and you
wonderful.
can't influence it.
Wonderful.
It
Yeah.
was very wonderful.
It worked.
Yeah.
Great. Great to hear. Yeah, it is like that. It's really a decision, no, that we take at a certain point to exactly what you said, no? Do I let the other, or do I let the world or everything come into my space or not?
Mhm.
And the more you take care of your inner space, the more precious it becomes. Slowly, slowly, you start feeling that is a sacred space. And every sacred space has to be cherished, you know, and protected and kept clean and empty as much as possible. So that is very much our responsibility. So thank you for sharing that, because that is our work, it's part of our work. We have to cherish the this inner divine being that is inside of us, in this inner space. The other option is to allow the world to come in, or allow, in this case, for example, if somebody is insulting you or is saying something really stupid, you know, and of course you feel like, well, sometimes you feel like that and that, and then you stop for a moment, no, I get angry. No, what for? Why? If this person is saying stupid things, why do I have to spoil my inner state, which was very peaceful a moment ago? No, I want to keep that inner temple clean. And so the anchors are helpful in that sense. Thank you for sharing that. And comes to my mind a little story of George Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff was a master and a mystic that originally from Caucasus or Russia, I don't remember which part, but he came to at a certain point to Paris, and he was teaching there in the late 50s, and very enlightened being, very much a rascal and out of the box mystic. I love him for that. Anyway, he told this story that said, well, when my father died, um, he was a very poor man. You know, we grew up very poor, very simple, beautiful man. And when he died, he was on his deathbed, and he called me and he said, listen, I have nothing to leave to you. I'm so poor. But one thing I want to leave to you, and it's this. Anytime somebody insults you, you know, instead of responding, when you feel angry and you feel like you want to react, go outside, run around the building for 3 times and then watch. And stop, sit, and watch what happened. And Gurja said that was the most precious gift his father could have left him, because, of course, he practiced it because he loved his father. So when he passed away, he definitely remembered this gift that he left him. So he practiced it. And he said, it's amazing. It changed my life to realize what happens when somebody insults me is my ego can obviously get hurt. You know, I don't feel honored. I don't feel respected. And obviously the ego is the one that reacts and wants to respond to defend itself. It's fair, no? That's what the ego does. So a lot of energy coming up. And so I would go outside and start running and running and then sit and realize, wow, the anger is gone. All this energy had been used in a different way, which is through physical movement, for example. And the inner mood had changed without me having to express anything to this person, without me getting into the story that this person was trying to involve me with, yeah, because that's actually what's happening. So I stayed out of the story. I never entered. I just dealt with the pure energy in me, in myself, nothing to do with the other. The other was a trigger. No? As I pushed the button, and suddenly, whoa, all this energy started being generated inside, right? So I deal with that. Forget about the other. So he said it's an amazing miracle what happens, no? So it allows you to not to enter in the story, so not to engage, because when you engage with that energy, you you become part of that. Yeah, if you deal with that energy also comes inside of you if you react to it. So that was a beautiful thing, he said, that I learned and I practiced it my whole life, and it was extremely helpful because it brought a completely different quality to my life. And it just came to my mind, that little story. I always remember it fondly. Mickey, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, Shastra, I also want to share something about movement. And, your CD, Bandole, there's
Yes,
a
Bandola.
song, I don't know how to pronounce it, Cuidado.
Cuidado. Uh-huh.
Cuidado. And for somehow that song is my favorite go-to when someone upsets me or whatever. I put on that music, and there's a repetitive theme. So I
Yes.
have a choreography, and I dance my heart out, and then it, everything is wonderful afterwards. It's just amazing. So thank you for that song because it's all that
Wonderful.
is. It's really wonderful.
Wow.
Also want to share something else. I had to go to the dentist on Tuesday, and it was scheduled for hour and a half because it's a tooth at the back here, and it was difficult. But in any case, I dreaded the fact that it's going to be so long. So when I arrived, I thought, but let's do belly breathing. And so I put my hands on the arms of the chair, and I felt the weight of my hands first of all. And then I focused on my body, the weight of my body, and I breathed in my tummy all the time. And I tell you, it was quarter of an hour instead of an hour. Eventually, it was an hour and a half.
Wow.
And the dentist afterwards, he said, could he ask me something? And I said, yes, go ahead. And he said, what did you do? Because you were so relaxed. And yeah, so it really helps in different situations.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. But all in all, the belly breathing is really that's amazing. That's my go-to.
So feeling the breath in the belly. Yeah?
Feeling the breath, yes.
That's very nourishing for your Hara center, to
Yes.
feel that prana going all the way down there.
Yeah.
That's really a wonderful practice.
And
Yeah.
another image is the tree and the roots. I have a specific tree in my mind. It's a beautiful big tree, and the roots go way down, as almost to infinity. So I have that image as well. And I find once in sitting, once I'm in my inner space, I'm gone for the world. then it's like so good there that I just don't want to get out again. I just want to stay there. So
Yeah.
it's a very big space, much bigger than me. It's like, I don't know, I can't describe it really in words, but it's a wonderful place to be.
Nice. Yes. Yes. Yeah. This thing that you mentioned, that you send roots into infinity, and also the fact that you feel your inner space is bigger than your body, it's a nice thing to practice too, to kind of move beyond what the rational mind would think, and visualize things that maybe for the mind it doesn't make sense. So it's okay. How can you send roots down into infinity? The mind goes like, wait a second, what do you mean? There's earth. I mean, you can go to the center of the earth maybe, but that's about it. No, it's even deeper than that, to infinity. I love it. And also the perception of the space. Why does it have to be limited? Is the inside of me really enclosed by the skin? Huh? Really? Well, let me feel into that and let me drop that idea. Maybe it's bigger than that. So also slowly as you practice, you start moving into a realm that is not so rational, but it doesn't mean it's not true to you. So not to worry about perceptions that your mind says, whoa, you're losing. Where are you going? So there is something about perceiving. It's a visualization that is connected to the perception that is okay. As long as you don't start fantasizing and going searching for something, some special experience or something like that takes you away from the present moment. But anything that is perceived within the present moment, even if it's rationally it doesn't make any sense, it's okay. Let it be. It's beautiful. Let your mind expand in that sense too. Yeah. But happy to hear that. Who would have thought when I recorded that song 20 years ago that that it would be so helpful for you? Thank you for sharing that too. It makes me very happy. Yeah, that's a very happy going album. It's the first one actually I made. It's completely uplifting.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, it's very uplifting, I know.
Yeah, to move to, and it makes me happy.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
That's
another thing to use, another beautiful thing to use laughter. Laughter is a beautiful thing because it's almost like it's something that stops your mind on its track. It's almost like a powerful sneeze, for a moment it's like, whoa, you can't think in the moment you're sneezing. There's so much energy happening, Laughter is like that too. It's like, you might feel all this anger building up, which is energy. It's just pure energy. There's nothing wrong with it. But you can decide, well, do I feel like moving to anger? And sometimes you might feel like beautiful, you know? It's Kali energy. It's beautiful also to express it once in a while. No problem with that. But other times you might feel like, oh man, I don't feel like going there right now. I'm just feel so good inside. I don't want to get engaged with that energy. And you might start laughing and see what happens. That's the last thing the mind would think is that, wait a second, I'm pissed off, I'm going to laugh. Well, try. And you will see what happens. It just cuts through, and it's an alchemy that happens. It completely transforms that anger into something else. Just try it as an experiment and see what happens. Yeah. What else? Who wants to share something else? Nicole, I haven't heard from you yet. Do you want to share something with me? How is it going with your practice? Is it helping?
Yeah, I feel when I have to, for example, a few days ago, I had to organize something for my father. He has dementia, and I'm the caretaker or
Yes.
caregiver.
Yes.
And some things were not running really smoothly.
Mm.
And I was really like, angry. And I thought, okay, look at me. I'm really angry at the phone. I was almost shouting at someone. Let me go into the shower and just like
Nice.
rinse it off. And I will just get dressed and do my makeup and just have my moment for myself. And it worked, that I just get out of it, that feeling. I didn't stay in it. So that,
yes.
Yeah, so that was already really helping. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That I could see what was going on.
Yes. Aha, that's a good point. And I could see what was going on.
Yeah.
Mm.
And much more, I realized, okay, breathe to my belly, to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, beautiful.
All those oxygen comes into your body and it helps.
Yes.
Even if you have a headache, you just have a good inhalation and
Mm-hmm.
it helps to get off your headache.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what you said. It helped me seeing what was going on.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening, isn't it? So the anger just fills the whole space. Again, it sometimes it's fine, you know. Actually, if you are a person like I used to be, which is personality-wise very used to repress its anger and become very close, to shut down, you know, that's what I would do. That was my personality type. I would shut down, and then if I was feeling hurt from you, I wouldn't talk to you for a week, you know. So I would just like withdrawing completely, become absolutely passive aggressive as they define it, and do not express that. But then it would take forever. Literally, it could take like a week. With my girlfriend, I wouldn't talk to her anymore for a week. And it was like, she was like, my God, what happened? You know? And at a certain point, thanks to a wonderful nightmare of a relationship I had, this woman came in my life, and she drove me nuts to the point that I managed, to break out of this pattern, you know. And I found myself after a year of nightmare to just shout at on her face, to the top of my lungs, all my anger, you know. And I remember her hair were just standing on her head. It was like, wow. It was an explosion, you know. I never shouted at anybody. You know, that was like first time in my life. And that was a breaking point that was very important for me, you know, very precious too. So the expression of the anger was actually what I needed to do, not to repress it, obviously. And I remember my mind coming in and my spiritual ego coming in and going like, oh, Shastra, come on, you lost it. How could you do that? That's not spiritual, you know? And at the same time, I had a little smile on my face. And the other part of me was like, God, that felt so good, you know? And I was feeling so good afterwards, you know, I'm so happy that I could express that. So that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? And since then, something really released and something changed. And all the relationship that came after that and my relating with the world and with people, it happened still a few times where I really gave it to that person in front of me because I trusted this is what arising out of me and this person is to get it. And I was like, wow, you know, blasting them with it, feeling very good afterwards that I did it. And I know that that happened because this person needed that in this moment. You know, I trust that. It didn't happen very often. Yeah, I was not like discharging on people. I was just like trusting that if that is exploding in me, that's because somehow it's what needs to happen. And that person needs to get this energy right now. You know, usually they become very quiet and something gets, I can see something gets into them and something happens to them too. But even if it doesn't, it was just what needed to happen for me. And I felt great about it all the time. I never resent doing that. So yeah, that's the other side of the coin too, isn't it? But it's your choice. At least you have a choice to say, if you're aware of what is happening, you say, okay, I'm going to lose it now and it's okay. It's fine. You know, I'm going to shout, I'm going to express this Kali energy. And if you don't know what Kali is it's an Indian goddess. Kali means black in Hindi. And she has a sword on one hand and a chopped head on the other. And it's a goddess that has no problem in using her energy to destroy, but through destruction, she creates. Yeah, so she destroys so that the new can be born. So it's a beautiful image, Kali. That's why I use this Kali energy. Sometimes it's also needed. And it's fine to express it. But if you are aware of what is happening in that moment, you also might decide, no, I'm not interested in going in that energy. And especially, I don't want to engage with that energy right now. You know, I don't want to get into this story with this person. Also beautiful. Yeah. So truth is a very fluid phenomenon, isn't it? We can say one thing and it's true, and we can say the opposite of it and it's true too. I have a master, which is this guy here, that he was amazing because he was such a good speaker, you know, and he was also a professor of university before and blah blah. Very very. He had absorbed an incredible amount of knowledge as well. One time I went into his library and it was like they asked me to go and take pictures of his books, because you know when you open the first page there are like usually 2 white pages in the book, you know, and he would love to draw. He used to love drawing with his felt tip pens, colored, and he would make amazing beautiful pictures. One day maybe I'll show you. And so they said, well, we want to keep these and turn them into digital images before they fade away or something. So they called me, I was in India at that time, to take pictures of all the painting of Osho inside the first page of all his books. And I went in and it was like a corridor and a whole room like covered with books, And so they put all the one they wanted me to photograph in a section. So I started and I took all this picture of these beautiful drawings. But I remember that now I'm getting into a story. It's okay. I remember that I heard that he could read a book like in 1 or 2 days. And I was like, how is it possible? How is it possible? Okay, maybe he has a technique that he goes through, quickly, and maybe he picks what's interesting for him. But okay, maybe he has a feeling of what the book is about, but how could it be otherwise? But when I was there taking pictures, of course, I took a chance to open these books and look through them. And they were all in pencil, underlined, mark, paragraph, and notes here and notes there. And I was like, holy shit, how does he find the time to read all these books and to put notes on them as well? It blew my mind. Anyway, yeah, he had an amazing mind as well. He was not only a mystic, was also quite a brilliant mind. And so he would talk to us and he would tell something, and he would say something and he was like, everybody was like following him and he was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like that. Yes. I agree. Totally. And then the next day he would say something that was completely the opposite, but presented so well that people were like, yeah, that is true. Yeah, I totally agree. Wait a second. But yesterday you said the opposite, And so people would write to him and said, listen, Osho, you said this. And then the next day you said the opposite. Wait a second. How is it possible? And he said, well, I'm just here to confuse you because I don't want you to hold on to concept and ideas, So I'm going to say one thing, and then the next day I'm going to say the opposite. So your mind has nothing to hold on to. And he would do that a lot. So that was his way to teach, because he said, well, truth is a fluid phenomenon, Don't get stuck to one concept and you think, okay, this is the truth. No, this is the truth, and the opposite can be the truth too, because it's a relative truth. It's what the mind calls truth. The real truth, there is no words to express it anyway. It's your inner space. What's happening in your temple? How can you express it? You can try, but you will fail. You'll never even get close to express what the experience of your inner space is. So the truth with a capital T anyway cannot be talked about it. But he said, I have this time and I have you and I need to talk, so I'm talking. But I also want you to understand that that's all relative. So, yeah, that's what he would do. It's quite a guy. So truth is a very fluid phenomenon. That's how it all started. Yeah. And even the present moment, I don't know if you notice, it's a very fluid phenomenon. When you sit and you close your eyes, even in your practice, you might feel very present and maybe there's not much going on, but yet you will see always something slightly moving, changing. It's a constant change. Nothing is stuck like carved in stone, Existence is a very fluid phenomenon. It's always like, it's like smoke, I love to look at smoke sometimes. I have an instance sometime when I meditate, and at the end, I open my eyes and I on a candle, actually, more often I have. And then I blow off the candle and then I sit and look at the smoke in the sunlight. It's like, wow. It's like that. It's like my inner space. It's like that smoke sometimes. It keeps changing and moving. The present moment is like that. It's an amazing meditation to look at the smoke in the sunlight of a candle that was blown off. You should try sometime. Or an incense stick works well too. That's how our inner space is. It's ever changing, maybe very, very subtle way, but it's always fluid. Everything is fluid. So how can you define truth with words? Words try to lock it in, no? Words are like very defined and they try to define something. That's why all the mystics, they said, truth is something that cannot be expressed in words. And that's what I felt when I was young and I decided to start making music. Because I felt like, well, what I want to express cannot be expressed in words. So let me try with something else. And music is beautiful in that sense because it bypasses the analytical mind. It's a universal language that everybody understands. Everybody perceives in the same way. No, that's the magic. It's a universal language that completely bypasses the mind and reaches the heart and something deeper. And funny thing is, I stopped to make music now and I can't stop talking. I was a very quiet, silent guy. And all of a sudden, here I am, you know. Last night I had a meeting with a group. I talked for 3 hours, I think. This morning I'm here with you, talking to you. Tomorrow morning I have the same group in Italian. So I'm speak same thing, but in Italian. Sunday, I'm doing a retreat with the Mandali Retreat Center. Another 2 hours I'll be talking there. By the way, if anybody's interested, I can send you the link, or maybe you already have it. I think it's on my Facebook profile. It's just the morning, Sunday morning. We're gonna celebrate spring equinox, and it's just one vinyasa yoga class with Sylvia, beautiful teacher. First, then there's a breakfast break, and then this meditation and me, again talking, and also practicing, sitting together. So if you want, it might be nice. Just be prepared because you hear things that you already heard from me, because there's a lot of new people there, and I have to. But the theme will be flowering, spring, flowering of consciousness. I'll talk about that. So probably many things you already heard, but if you want to hang out, it could be a nice space. So, yeah. So I said, well, let yourself talk, see what comes out. And I love to come here and not knowing what I'm going to say. Yeah. And that's also the way I love to play music lately in the last years, was I can pick up your flute and just see what comes out. So a lot of the time when I would play in the meditation, it was always like, stay in the moment and see what wants to come, which is a beautiful thing to do. So my music was always an improvisation. Of course, not when I was recording, but in the live performances, let's call them expressions. And it's the same here when I sit with you guys. Sometimes I want to talk about something, but sometimes it's like, whoa, I have no idea what I'm going to say. Let's see what wants to come, and let's see what you guys have to say. Like this morning, for example, then I ask you, I have nothing to say. Maybe you have something to say. And then things just unfold. It's all fluid, no? It just happens. Beautiful unfolding, which is real. You know, nothing is prepared. We're not reading any book or anything like that. We're just sharing our truth. It's a beautiful space. Okay. Do you feel like sitting a little bit together? Yeah. So find a comfortable position to sit. If you can find a position where your back is relatively straight, aligning your neck and your spine. Maybe you can slightly push upwards with the top of your head where the spiral of your hair is. You can just slightly push up and then release to align, to help align your neck and your spine. And feel a little uplift from that point, like there was a thread attached to the top of your head that pulls you upwards. Very, 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 very subtle sky energy. So that sky energy helps supporting the bone structure that is holding us vertical. And few of the muscles, but most of them we can just relax them and let ourselves fall. All the parts of the body feel like they're falling downwards as they relax. The shoulders, the arms, the lower back. Let them be attracted by the earth as they relax. And the diaphragm as well, let it fall. And the belly. Let them relax and feel the pull of the earth on the belly too. You might become aware of the weight of the body more now on the cushions, on the floor, as you let go into the earth. As if you're sending roots into the ground. And let those roots go deep. Don't stop them right under you. They can go all the way to the center of the earth or to infinity, as Mickey likes. Just let those roots go deep into the earth. Grounding yourself into the here, into that exact place where you are. Like a tree, a big tree with deep roots, unmovable. It is part of the earth. It comes out of the earth. At the same time, it grows very tall into the sky. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree. or like a big mountain. The taller the mountain, the wider the base into the earth. And in this moment, you are here and you are in balance between earth and sky energy. You're connecting, your body is connecting the two energies right in the middle. It's your body. These two energy go across your body. They connect and they nourish your body. And they help you sit present, awake, but grounded and rooted at the same time. In the present moment. We also become aware of our inner space now more and more. Our attention can move into the inner space and the sensations and the things that are arising in that space. Moods or feelings, sometimes thoughts, or sometimes just space, pure space. Sometimes just silence and stillness and space. Without losing touch with the earth and the physical body, but we can also move into the formless with our attention. In this space, we notice the breath moving, the gentle movement of the breath, its rhythm happening naturally without us doing anything. This breath is also perceived as floating in the inner space. Once in a while, we still check on the body if it's still relaxed. Very briefly. And if it's not, we relax it again. And then move back to the inner space, to the breath, intake and outtake of air. The belly is slightly moving. Feeling the prana coming through the air and reaching deep into your belly, to your hara center. Allowing the sound to bring you back to the moment, noticing where is your attention. Finding a space where you are present without doing anything. If you find yourself trying to do something, even subtle, just release that. Release any intention of doing anything, of changing anything, of fixing something, of figuring out anything. Just release all. Just be as empty as you can. Exactly as you are. Let go of the desire to be anything more, anything different than you are in this moment. Remembering that you're simply observing. Observation doesn't mean you need to change anything or do anything, or that anything should be different than how it is. The witness has no preferences. Remaining in a neutral space of observation. And slowly coming back. Opening your eyes when you're ready, if they're not already open. Very beautiful space, beautiful silence. Is there still something that wants to be shared in words? Yeah, Rafaela.
I had a little conflict yesterday night with my boyfriend. Can you hear me?
Yes, a little soft, but I can hear.
This night I was feeling for the first time my anger is back here.
Yeah.
Here.
Lower back?
No.
The middle.
Head, but on the back.
Uh-huh.
And usually I have a lot of tension here, and usually I learned my children to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And today about meditation, I was breathing in the heart center, and it was this energy, but I was feeling like here, like a very big brick, mattone.
See?
Very
Where? Where are you feeling it?
here.
In your chest.
I'm feeling this brick still 3-4 days because I'm a psychotherapist, and a lot of people come with their pain, with their corona pain, and friends of me are sad, and so much troubles and so much pain, and I was feeling this brick there, and the energy from the hara of being Rafa couldn't be, because it's being brava, being kind, be sweet.
Yes. A nice girl, a nice woman,
You know
a
what?
good woman.
But the conflict of yesterday, it was about, that's your problem, that's not mine, no? And
Yeah.
and breathing and sending all the, I was making the muscle here soft, and I will make it all, sending all the energy to the head. Then I had to cry, and it was good, and then I had space.
Yes.
But I'm really impressed about how big Santa.
The brick was, or is,
Yes.
yeah. That's not an easy job you're doing, yeah, because you're dealing with a lot of stress that people have, a lot of fear, a lot of their, basic fear emotions. And it's not easy to screen yourself. It's like how to be present with them without taking in all that. It's an art. It's an art to be
Well,
learned.
when I love them, no, I love my
Yeah,
friends, no.
sure. And the empathy, that you feel, which is a beautiful human quality, empathy. But now you have to take care of yourself. So the best thing, which you already know what to do, is to move into that big brick and feel what it is. Feel it more. And what you probably will need to do, which you already done, is let that tears come, let that heaviness be expressed through your body, because it has to go out again. Somehow it was put in there, now it has to come out, and because it's pain and it's sadness, it's heaviness, mixed, some from other people, some your own, oh, I'm tired to be a good girl, I just want to take care of myself. I don't want to always give. I also have to nourish myself. So it's all mixed in there, those pains. Other people pain, your own pain, whatever it is, feel it deeply, more deeply. Go inside the brick. Try to penetrate it more. Doesn't matter how dense it feels. Go in there and feel it as much as you can. And then it will release itself through whatever, tears or understanding, anything. It will happen by itself. It will release itself. You have to do that to take care of your inner space. Yeah, right now it's crowded by this big weight. So dedicate just a little sitting just to feel that brick, that dense space in your chest, just to say, okay, I'm going to sit and just do that. I just feel that as deeply, as much, as totally as I can.
And what can I do with the inner space? I take the brick in the inner space, or
The brick is in the inner space.
yeah.
It's already there, right? So just go into it, go into this density, that you feel. Beautiful, beautiful. Just feel it more, feel its texture, what it feels like, and then try to penetrate it with your feeling and just feel it as deeply as you can and see what comes.
To have empathy also for this brick.
Sure, why not? But mainly to feel it, to feel what's in it, what's locked in there, because some feelings are locked into this density. So just go penetrate it and see if you can feel it more. What does it feel like? What is it telling you? What wants to be expressed through that?
Thank you.
My feeling is that there's a lot of tears, but whatever it is. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, though. Yeah. So that's part of our practice, isn't it? It's observing, but awareness means also, obviously, perceiving. So we talked about thoughts, that thoughts don't need to be felt, because there's no feeling in thought. It's the analytical mind, it's the egoic mind. They're just thought. But they can create emotions, But we just observe thought, and usually it's enough to just, okay, let them go. But feelings and emotions are less etheric in a way. They are connected to the body more, to the physical body. Yeah. And so thoughts are easy to release. They're somewhere in our mind, and they're like smoke, like dreams. It's a certain point you go like, oh, you wake up and say, oh my God, I was lost in thought. They disappear, like dreams disappear when you wake up in the morning. It's like poof, gone. Okay, space again, beautiful. But emotions are connected to the body. So they are more physical. And they need to be released. They need our full attention. So we cannot say, what definitely one thing we don't need to do is to say, oh, God, I don't want to feel this. Well, you can, but what you do when you do that, you're pushing it back down into the subconscious and it stays there. It affects you without you knowing it because it's in the subconscious. So it's much better when you meditate, you allow things to come up into the conscious, into the light of the conscious, so that you can bring your attention there and feel it. When an emotion arises, feel it. It needs to be acknowledged. That's why it's arising, because something in you at a certain point didn't allow you to feel it. So it's still there and it wants to come up again. Let it come up. Beautiful. Be happy about it. Be happy that it's coming out, showing its face again. So whatever that is needs to be felt. So bring your attention there and be with that emotions, with that feeling. Acknowledge it and feel it. And say, hey, I feel you. Okay. Whatever it is. It might be tears. Then you feel, oh, let me feel it. What is it? Oh, actually, I feel like sadness and I feel a lot of tears. Good. Acknowledge them. Welcome them. Let them come. And then that emotion will dissolve, will release, because finally you felt it. So feeling needs to be felt. That's why they're called feeling. Yeah, emotions too. So I don't want you to get into this spiritual concept that you have to be a watcher on the hill, witnessing everything, and you are detached from everything. Yes, that is true. And the opposite is also true, as we said before. It's true. You're witnessing self, you're witnessing consciousness, has no preferences, and it's detached. It's observing everything like a movie. That is true. But your physical body carries emotions that are attached to you because you haven't allowed yourself at a certain point to feel them. So you have to enter in there with bring your consciousness, your attention, your awareness, your acceptance, your empathy to those emotions. Bring what you couldn't at a certain point in life. And it's okay. Everybody has that. Sometimes there was something happening. It was too much, too overwhelming. You were not ready to deal with it. It was like, I can't deal with it. So you push it down. That's okay. We all do that. But welcome it when it comes back up, whatever it is, because that's your chance to have it released. And the releasing happen only through you bringing the light of your full attention into that and allow yourself to feel it more, as deeply as you can. And you will see eventually it moves and it becomes fluid again. It's not a brick anymore. It's not something heavy. Suddenly it's not so dense anymore. It's more supple. It becomes fluid and then eventually it releases. It's gone. There is an empty space again. Yeah, that's the alchemy of awareness and acceptance and perceiving and allow yourself to really feel. So mindfulness and meditations, it's not about becoming detached from everything. It's actually becoming more and more sensitive. We become more sensitive. We become able to perceive more and more the subtleness inside. We become able to rest into silence sometime in stillness, in something very, very fine, finer than smoke. Yeah, we acquire a sensitivity more and more. That sensitivity allows us to tune into the formless dimension, which is our consciousness, isn't it? It has no form. So how sensitive you have to be? Very sensitive to perceive that it has no form. So the first step is to deal with what we can perceive clearly. And emotion is beautiful because it can be perceived even at a physical level. Work with that. That's the first layer. Go through that. And then once they're released, then there is space again. Good. Then stay with the space. What does that space feel like? Then it's more subtle. But we go through many layers, huh? So we have to work through it. It's a fine work, but it's a beautiful work, just with yourself. Nothing else and nobody else is needed. That's a great freedom that meditation gives, no? You don't need a priest to work with you, to connect you with God. Without the priest, you cannot. Right. That's religion. That's slavery. Meditation is freedom because you don't need anybody else. You don't need anything else, just you and yourself. That's total freedom. Okay, something else wants to be said? Aura, can you say something? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I have a very very funny thing to
Okay.
share. So I
We
I
like funny
started
things.
running and it feels yeah. I started running and it feels like super energetic all day. And the funny thing is that these days, especially after the lockdown, I'm dreaming of dynamic meditation and I wake up in the night at all the time around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, actually doing the first stage or the third stage. And I'm like, and
In
then
the
I go
middle
to
of the
sleep
night.
again in the middle of the night. And then I go to sleep again and I start doing the same thing, the first to the third stage, and I wake up again. And I don't- so
You actually dream that you're doing it, or you actually get up and do it?
I I dream that I'm doing and I wake up like and I just wake up like that.
Well, how about doing some dynamic? Did you think about it?
There's no space where I can.
I see. Then running is good.
Uh-huh.
Running is a second good. Obviously, your subconscious is telling you to activate and release through physical movement. So dynamic meditation, for those of you that do not know, it's one meditation that Osho designed that is very active, and you do it first thing at 6 or 7 in the morning, and it's like divided in 4 stages, 5 stages. And the first stage, what she was referring to, it's the chaotic breathing, like really intense forced breathing, like hyperventilation. So the whole meditation is like super active. Then there is a cathartic phase where you scream, you move, you jump, you do all kind of things. So it's very, very active. And the last stage is like complete stillness, and which is really complete stillness. Then it's like, wow, silence. But it's a wonderful way to cleansing, to process unexpressed emotion. Anything that needs to come up is just like burnt. So we will do that. It's nice to do a 21-day cycle every morning. First thing in the morning, you do that. So if you cannot do it because you don't have the space or you cannot make noise or whatever, first of all, you can make it silently also. Actually, even in India, at a certain point in the meditation hall, we had to do it silently because the neighbors were complaining. So Osho said, okay, From today, we do the dynamic in silence. So you express through the physical body, but without using the voice, the sound. So you can do that. Or if you cannot do that, then running is a great thing. Just run. Or dancing. Anything that, let yourself burn that extra energy. Wonderful. It's funny you wake up doing the breathing though.
Not just the breathing, even the hoo-hoo. And I'm like, whoa.
I love it. So it's not a very restful night, I suppose. Yeah. So there is a lot that wants to be burned, physically burning. How are your new shoes, running shoes?
Beautiful. They're perfect.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Aura. Anything else wants to be shared? Okay, I'll let you go then. That was a beautiful morning. I send you kisses, hugs, and namaste to everybody. I will see you next Friday for sure. I'll be here. Wait, let me unmute you because you're on mute. Yeah. So, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Sastra. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much,
Namaste. Thank you.
everyone. Lots of love.
Yeah.